We are live. We are live.
We're live.
We're actually live.
We're
really
live.
live. We're really live. We wouldn't be this incompetent if we weren't live. I'm Pete. This is Josh. Josh is tall with a beard. I'm not. But you know what? We came in today. We didn't coordinate this, did we?
Yeah, no.
We came in the same colour top. We got the same trousers. We got the same shoes. We got the same shoes. Happy accident, I'm afraid. Happy accident. But we're going to email each other every night so it doesn't happen.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to let you know what I'm wearing to work.
100%. We're going to coordinate our wardrobes. Now, I digress. Now, thank you for joining us. We are live. So any comments that you may have, please send them along to us. Just going to be reading the comments. So if you want to know, if you're looking at something that I'm going to be doing and you're not sure how I do that technique, if you have any other questions, just drop us a line. And you know what this today is all about? It's all about Tim Holtz Fall Stroke Halloween. So we're going to look at some of the projects, some of the inspiration. Incidentally, if you really want to know about them, if you want to deep dive into the products and some of the wonderful, wonderful projects made by his making team, then go to Tim Holtz YouTube. Check it out. He did it last Saturday. Watched it myself. That is the place to find out about these. So we're going to be. I'm just going to take one single set from that wonderful collection. We're going to look at that, and we're going to look at some of the versatility, because versatility is value for money in my book. Anyway, something you're going to use time and time again. Something you're going to use all year round. That's what I like, and we have one such set for you here today. So
just while Pete is doing his thing, as it were, I'm going to be here looking at your comments. I'd like to give straight away just a few people a shout out. So we've got those kind of early birds to the live. We have Sharon Pollard from Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, do you want to try this last name? Because I really apologize. It's hard for me to pronounce some of them.
Oosterhausen.
Oosterhausen.
I think it's Dutch, but it's very South African name.
So that is Nicoline Oosterhausen.
Very good.
It says, hello from Dubai. Can't wait for the video. I absolutely love seeing where everyone's from. We've got someone here. We've got Maria from California. Hi, Maria. We've got Shanners, 2762. Shanners, I wonder what Shanners' full name is, from Aurora, Illinois.
You know what? Aurora, Illinois. You know where that's from? Waynesville.
Is it?
Yeah, Waynesville.
Oh, wow, amazing. But yeah, so as Pete says, keep these coming in, even if it is just, telling us that you like the dies, just asking any question, or just telling us where you're watching from. I'll be here. I'll be making notes of some of the things, the questions that you want to know the answer to, and we'll be reading them out on the live.
And another thing on top of that, Josh, towards the end, what we're going to do, everything that I make today, I'm going to try and get about 4 makes in. It's all about the techniques, and we're going to put them onto base cards. Now, everything that I make today, if you want to receive these cards, then say hi in the comments. What we'll do at the end, Josh will scroll through and pick a name completely at random, probably something you can pronounce.
Are we going to call this out live on the live?
We're going to call it out live.
Okay,
so send in your comments, and Josh will scroll through.
Yeah,
and we'd love to hear from you.
And I won't decide until the end of the live, so I'll go through the comments when we're coming to the end. So I want to see some really lovely comments.
Do one of those things where you go up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah,
there you go. Don't stick a pin in your computer.
No, I'll do dip.
Don't. Okay. Good safety tip there, folks. So let's start off. We are looking, and I think we're going to go to the top-down camera. We are indeed. This one is called Feathery. And now, I love feathers. I always have. This one has a slightly different bend because they're all very different. They're all slightly tatted, very natural looking. But to me, as a designer, and to you guys at home, I'm sure it gives you a blank canvas on which to do your thing. I love dies like that. I love dies like this because I love motifs like this. They work with florals. They work with so many other dies. Therefore, they are versatile. Now let's collect those up a second, because what I want to do, well, I'm going to start off. I want to show you a little technique which I like to do. Now I've got some plain cardstock here, lovely color. If you notice the back, it's actually patterned. Now this comes from, this is actually a new Sizzix product. It's our pattern paper festive pack. You've got these 10 gorgeous designs And you've got on the back, we've got all these lovely festive colors as well. So they're actually flat. So anyway, that's where I've got this cardstock from. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these Sizzix permanent adhesive sheets. Now, if you've not come across this before, there are 10 in a pack. And basically, it's like double-sided tape, okay, but in the form of a sheet. So if you stick it to the back of your card and die cut it, then effectively whatever you die cut becomes a sticker. But I'm going to use it for a slightly different purpose today. And I'm just going to trim a little bit away like that. So remember, it's adhesive both sides. And I'm just going to peel that back and pop it down onto the card. So I'm actually die cutting the base of it today. Now, let's take one of these feathers. Anyone will do. They're all gorgeous. And I'm going to place it there like so. Now, where is my machine? It's behind me. And today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are using the Tim Holtz fold-away machine. Now, Josh, I know you love the fold-away, don't you? The fold-away is your sort of go-to manual machine.
Yeah.
You go between that and the Big Shot. And
do you know what? I love the Big Shot. The fold-away for me has just got that extra bit that you can store it away. I like trying to kind of maximize the room on my counter because, I mean, sort of, you know what my counter can get like.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is nothing compared to the mess on my counter. But yes,
so the fold-away just gives me that extra, you know, that little bit extra room. And I really like those little kind of cool compartments in there as well, so I don't lose all the stuff I'm working on when I'm working on it.
There you go. So that's it. Our manual machines. I'm a Big Shot guy, just a fold-away guy. But they're both great machines. I've used both. I continue to use both. Now, what I've done, you can see here, that's that bit of double-sided sheet there. So I'm just going to peel off the backing, and you can see it cuts so cleanly. Let's peel this off. You can use a die pick, you can use the end of a craft knife, but what I'm going to do now is bring in my decorative foil sheets, okay? Another Sizzix product. You're getting 10 sheets in the pack. We have silver, we have gold, and we have rose gold. And today, I'm going to be using, I think I'm going to be using the gold because I've got some which I cut earlier as well, and I've chosen 3 of these lovely colors. And let's peel the backing off those as well. So it's a nice color blend. It's really nice. I think I might use this green in the middle. I don't know. We'll see where we go with it. So you can see this has already been well used, but there's lots of life in it. Yeah, and I'm going to place it over where the adhesive sheet was cut. And I'm just going to use the pressure of my thumb. And boom. Wow, how about that? Instant gratification. Let's move along to the next one. That's all it takes.
That is just so satisfying to watch.
Do you know what? It is satisfying.
I know exactly what's going to happen, but I can't take my eyes away still.
It's like shrink plastic, isn't it? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It gives you that wow factor.
Can we show these a bit closer to the camera? So
I can lift them up.
This one up here.
Sure.
So
I'm going to lift and I'm going to tilt these, and you can see.
That is so cool.
Isn't it cool? Isn't it cool? Let's get it in the center of the shot. There you go. Now, I'm not just going to do that. I'm taking, now this is from, this little mint green mat comes from my paper sculpting kit, which I know Josh will agree with me here. It's a piece of our arsenal, which we absolutely couldn't do without. And I'm using this, it's kind of got a curve on it. So when you make a crease in whatever you're making it, whether you're creasing a card blank, whether you're putting creases into the center of the leaves, it doesn't drag, and the point doesn't actually come into contact with it. But the great thing about that is I can get these lovely curves. You can see there. And now the reason I curve them is because of the way that light plays against these lovely metallics. And when they're stuck down, wow. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So there we are. That's number 2. And finally, number 3. We'll just fold that.
Just that extra fold in that feather.
Yeah.
It's this kind of thing. And I'm not trying to suck up to Pete, live on YouTube. But honestly, it's this sort of thing where because I sometimes think, oh, do you know what? I'm actually, I pretty much know everything that Pete's going to do now. But then you do something like this, and I find it really impressive. And I'm stealing the technique and going to claim it as my own.
Hey, you do that, my friend. You do that. No, but it's sometimes it is the little things. You know, it's the little things that make such a difference. I'm using my Sizzix glue gun to pop these in place. And I'm not sticking them. There's only a bit of glue, only one bit of glue. If you feel better, if you feel more secure by adding extra glue, please be my guest. I'm actually doing this to save both of us time and effort. So there we are. Oh, no, you know what? I was going to put this. Do you know what, Josh? I've come unstuck.
Go on.
Both literally and metaphorically. I stuck it upside down. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I'm talking away. I was
just telling everyone how much of a pro you are.
I know. It's almost like you were willing it on me. No, anyway. There we go. But hey, I'm sure everybody at home is nodding along and saying, yep, done that. Yep, no problem. So that's it. That's the card. That's all there is to it. But you can see that lovely sheen of the gold. And by the way, I have another copy of this. So whoever does get this card at the end of the day, I will send you the original, not the one that I made a mess of. But that's technique number one. That's technique number one. And I'm going to show you a lot of projects at the end as well that we've done using just this collection. So let's put that to one side and we'll get the next little collection out. So that's card number one. Now, next up, I'm reaching down under the table here and I've got some cream card. I hope this is showing up for everybody. If not, you know what? I'm going to work on top of this. Is that better? Yeah, we can see that more clearly, can't we? So what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to apply some clear embossing ink. Now this stuff, this is what you apply to your ink pads for embossing. So if you want to do embossing techniques, it's clear ink. You place it on the card. If you want to use clear embossing powder, gold embossing powder, silver, it doesn't really matter, but it's a clear ink. And rather than apply it directly to the feather, what I'm going to do is take this. This is a sea sponge Common Garden. Usually buy them in sets of 10 or 8, wherever you can get them from. I'm applying it to this feather with this. Now, what that will give me is a broken up effect. So this would just give me a straight line. But by using this, it's going to kind of break it up. So there we are. We'll dab that on. Use any sponge that you have to hand, but something like this, which is you know, it has little holes in it. It's uneven. That's what I want here. I want to embrace that unevenness, and I'm going to pour on some Sizzix gold embossing powder. Okay, we'll just tip that on there like so, and there we have it. Now you can see. Or you will rather once I've heated it. That is quite uneven. Which is the look and feel I'm going for. As I say, usually you just get a straight line. Now let's take my heat tool. This is my dual speed heat tool. And I'm starting off on the lowest heat. It's good to finish on the lowest heat as well, because if I bring it up to the high heat, okay, I see that start to change. I see the gold starting to heat. The enamel is starting to do its magic. But then when I turn it down, you see this ink, this embossing powder rather, it takes on quite a mottled finish. But by turning it down to the low, it kind of smooths it out. Now, I'm going to come in with this again, but this time, I'm going to go on the base with the pad like that, because I want to add some more. And the more layers of this powder that you can put on, the more intense it becomes. And not only that, the more like an enamel it becomes. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an enameled effect. And now as this heats through, you can see on the low heat particularly, it's starting to smooth out. There's no line there, and the low heat is allowing it to smooth, and it's taking away some of that mottling. Now, let me hold that up as far as I dare to the camera. Can you see how that works? Isn't that cool?
That's so
I
cool.
love that. That's a really, really nice technique. But you can see how it's broken up at the top, and that, my friends, is all about the sea sponge. Now, dare I touch it? Yes.
Well, that's drying there.
Sure.
I don't know. So all of the comments and the questions so far, they're more just kind of telling us how fantastic the techniques are, how great everything is. But there is one question which doesn't technically pertain to what you're doing now, but I think it's a good question for you. So someone called Cobbs Heartlights. So first of all, he or she, sorry, I don't know at the minute, but says, just to let you know, I'm right in the middle of making the gorgeous honey jar. Glue is currently drying and cooling off on my desk as I write. So I saw that comment instantly because I remember you made the honey jar.
We did.
But they have a question, and it says, I've seen you regularly use some grey or silvery folded cards and can't see the cards anywhere. Could you please tell me where I could buy these cards?
Grey or silver?
Grey or silver, yes. So some grey or silvery folded cards. The only thing I can think they might be talking about is the matte opulent cardstock, or
yeah, you use that quite a bit.
Yeah.
We do have natural coloured opulent cardstock, and one is a very sort of pearlized in it, but it's quite subtle, and that's a grey. That's absolutely gorgeous as a background. But we do a neutral cardstock. There are 10 different neutral colours, so it could be that, but very often I will use just smooth grey card as well. So
do you just all order that online, or
I sort of, I think I bought some years ago, and I've got like a
big
a
massive
stash of
thing.
it. You know, we've all got
kids
that,
got.
haven't we?
And Cobbs is a she. She's just let me know.
Oh,
so,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
We do like to get it right, you know. We
We
don't want to offend folks. Now, do you know what happened? You know that lovely tool that was creasing with before? You have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
See,
You know
isn't this the curse of the maker?
I feel like we're sort of part-time magicians as well, because we can just make things disappear, even right in front of our very own eyes.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm going to do? No, I don't think I need that again. But anyway, what I was going to do, I was going to crease down the center of this feather. But while I'm waiting to find that, while I'm waiting for Josh to find that, okay, we're going to come back to our overhead, and I'm going to take, this is a piece of twine, which I've knotted, and that's just natural twine. And I'm going to add that to the top of my feather. Now, next up. Oh, do you know what, Josh? It's dropped down the side. It's rolled off the edge. Thank you so much. Because I'm going to do the same on this mint green mat, which again comes with my paper sculpting kit, as does the tool. And we're going to make that crease, and we're going to get the same thing going on. We're going to get that lovely crease, and that's going to let light and shadow do its thing, which is very important with any kind of metallic or pearlized cardstock. Now, that's there, like that. And again, I'm just taking a bit of glue. Now, this is so simple. This is simplicity itself. And I know we're talking about Halloween dyes, and we are going to show you some wonderful Halloween projects a little later on. But this is a way to get the most out of these dyes. I'm going to show you some using kind of Halloween-y vibes, techniques and colors and so on and so forth. But that's pretty cute, and that's 2 cards in no time at all. This one using the decorative foil sheets, this one using our embossing powder. So there's 2.
Some of the comments here are just basically everybody relating as a crafter to that whole your tools disappearing straight away. So,
yeah, do you know what? I wish we'd done it on purpose now.
I know.
But we didn't. That was genuine. It happens every
We have
day.
the crafty in me. Haha. Yeah, the maker's dilemma, finding tools that you need. And then someone whose name is Norma Clute Garrett. I'm a magician too, with lots of laughing faces. We're all magicians.
Don't you love it when so-called professionals mess up life? There's nothing quite like it, folks. Now, this next one, I love this. I love this because what I've done here, what I've done here, I've used a rubber stamp. I've used this rubber stamp. This is from one of Tim's collections. You could use any with text, or it could even be a fleur-de-lis or any kind of pattern. And what I've done is I've applied this embossing ink. Now, the embossing ink is very tacky. So I've applied it to these two feathers, and then I put clear embossing powder. I don't know if that's picking up there, but there's clear embossing powder on there. So what that does, it acts as a resist. And when I ink over the top, and I'm taking some distress inks, and this one is an old favorite of mine.
I love this technique, you know. Every time we do this technique,
yeah,
I always, when you start it, you kind of think, well, you're never going to be able to do, you know, your ink so intensely that it's going to show through, but it shows through
it does,
so well.
Suddenly, you're absolutely right. It just takes suddenly, I mean, the darker the ink, or the more intense the application thereof, the better. So what I'm going to do, I'll move from Wild Honey, which is a real old, I think that was one of my original favorites. I know we all go through, you know, different favorites, and we have flavor of the month and, you know, our favorite blends, but Wild Honey was one of those that I really enjoyed using way back when. So this one, somewhat, is actually carved pumpkin.
Look at that blend.
Very apt. It's a lovely blend. I mean, but this is orange to orange, so that's a fairly straightforward blend. But the way that this comes out to yellow, and that's what I
it's
like
almost like
about
a flame. It could be a phoenix feather.
Very much so. Very much so. Now, Rusty Hinge, my old mate Rusty Hinge. I think this might be one of my current faves. So it's been a fave for a long time.
Question from Sharon Wellings.
Fire away, Sharon.
When you used the sea sponge, was it damp or dry?
Well, Sharon, you know what? If I'm blending with inks, or if I'm blending with acrylics, I will dampen this first. I will spritz it, I will squeeze it out, and then I will start to kind of, you know, then I'll work with it damp, because obviously when it's damp, it's much more pliable. But this time I used it dry. Dry, when you're doing that technique, is much better. But yes, you're quite right. It's with other techniques, it's best to dampen it first. You don't want it dripping with water, but definitely damp. So that's a very good question. Thank you for asking that.
And then we had another question that was, somebody kindly let us know how to see the details, because I think the camera went a bit blurry, but our very talented camera operator James, who is behind the camera, he kind of snuck on set whilst you were talking and just did something to kind of made it focus again. So thanks for letting us know. But the question was, what tool is it that Pete is using? I think we mentioned earlier. Okay. Are we referring to our multi-tool?
Well, let's have a look at both, shall we? Because the multi-tool is what I use for my ink blending. This is Sizzix multi-tool. As the name suggests, there are different heads you can use. You can get there's a paper distressing head. There's also a scalpel, a craft knife head. This one is really clever. It's angled so that it makes it really intuitive. It's like holding a pen or a pencil, and so when you're making a lovely blend, it's much more intuitive than the ones that come straight down. It's my go-to.
It kind of turns it from when you've got to use your whole arm and shoulder to ink, to almost it being that you can just use your wrist and your fingers, which is really cool.
No, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely spot on. This, folks, this comes from my paper sculpting kit. And if I reach down again, here it is. It's down.
Oh, I've got
There's so much stuff down here. Now, paper sculpting kit. What comes in it? Well, you get these lovely tweezers. You get the most fantastic pair of scissors. These are my favorite scissors of all time. And I know they're not the most expensive scissors in the world, but I love them. I love the size of them. Then you get various little tools now. Some of them are there's one for quilling. There are some big ball-end styluses for shaping your florals or your leaves and so on. Then you get this firm foam mat. So if you want to get dimension into florals or die cuts, you can use that. And you get this one, which is a kind of a firmer mat. So if you want to make a crease down the center of a leaf, this is the way to go. lovely little kit. That's the paper sculpting kit. But I was just using that particular tool from it. So there we go. Now, where am I? Oh, yes. We are going to do some die cutting. Now, Tim has a set, which is Holtz Halloween. There are 8 dies in it. This is Boo. We're going to be looking at that set a little later on. And I'm going to place it onto a piece of white card. Now, let's take some maker's tape. If you've not seen maker's tape before, incidentally, it's quite marvelous. What it is, it's a very, very low-tech tape. And, you know, rather than use washi tape, which sometimes washi tape will lift the surface of your card. You don't want to get that. This is very low tack, and it runs through the machine, and you can peel it straight off afterwards. And it's great for making sure that your delicate die cuts stay in place. Now let's take my machine again. We're going to put that in the middle, bring the platform back in, and again, we're going to go directly onto the platform and the wafer thin die adapter. We're going to place our die thus, and the top plate, and just run that through. Now this is going to cut an aperture. One of the things that I love about these dies, these bold text dies, is that you can use the positive or you can use the negative. So all the letters that come out of this, you know, keep them to one side. Mix and match. Have letters of different size in your project. There are so many different ones. I'm sure you'll find these for every single occasion. But for the dies themselves, see what's happened here. Boom. There we are. We peel away the maker's tape. There it is. Boo. That's what I wanted. So that's my sentiment. And this, my feathers are going to go over the top. So in one sense, I've used kind of a mixed media technique with the inking. And then I've gone for just plain, fresh, white cardstock. And what I like about that is the contrast between the two. So, oh, incidentally, I used some of my foam tape, another Sizzix product. That's what I'm going to attach these down with. It's very handy because if you want a long strip of it, you have a long strip.
Oh, it's a staple for me. I absolutely love the foam tape.
Yeah, I realized that when mine kept going missing.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of stuff of yours that I really like.
I thought Josh really loves this foam tape. So, no, actually, it's usually the other way around, folks.
Yeah, we have all just seen you losing stuff live on camera.
We have. I know. It's oh man, I feel such a fool now. I really do. So what I'm going to do here now, you know what I did? I put my scissors back in my paper sculpting kit. Now I've got to get them out here. So let's take my scissors. And what I do with this tape is rather than cut it, I just slice it like that, and I'm going to place some of that across the back. And if you want to lift the backing up, scissors are an ideal way to do that as well.
What?
Yes.
You've never shown me that technique, and you've seen how much I struggle on
my secrets.
struggle on TV trying to peel the back of the tape off.
Oh, I've been there, mate. Don't worry about it. Now, there you go. That's it. This is just going to sit in this cat. But you say I've inked. Well, I've done some ink smooching, and if you look at the ink on here, you could spritz that and you could lift it right off with this card and get even more smooching going on. But I'm just going to place that sort of equidistant like so. And you see what I'm doing there? What I'm doing, I'm letting the shadow. So where we've die cut Boo out there, I'm letting that shadow. That's why I wanted the dimension. That's why I used the foam tape rather than just gluing it to the surface. So that's quite monochromatic. We've kept it to a very orange color palette there. But sometimes, you know, simple is beautiful. I think I'm having that mug raised today, actually. Simple is beautiful. There you go. That was technique number 3, folks. And I am going to actually, I know where my spritzer is. There you go. So I'm just spritzing this with water. And in case you're wondering what I'm working on here, this is my Sizzix media mat. So you can see it has all these lovely wells which you can add your paints to. There's a little channel there for your brush. But it is great if you're using distressed products. It's great if you're using acrylics or any pastes or anything like that that you want to use. And you want to keep your surface clean. And as you can see, it wipes clean off like that.
Lots of comments here just saying, love it, love the script, pretty. They're just all very complimentary products. There is one question from Sawdust. Did you ever open and stick them to your nose as a kid. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Is it the foam tape you're talking about sticking to your nose as a kid? I can't say I did, but
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm kind of. What's the question again?
So here we go. Did you ever
open and stick to your nose as a kid? I've stuck lots of things to my nose as a kid. I'm not entirely sure.
James did.
James did. He's
I thought you were putting your hand up.
He wasn't putting his hand up. He was pointing to the overhead camera. Say, we're on the overhead camera, folks. Stop looking at the other one. Now, okay, let's have a look at one more little technique. Now, I've die cut this feather out of plain, clean black card. And I'm going to spritz that clean black card because what I'm going to do is I want to emboss it. I want to get some embossed detail in there. And I'm using this lovely doily, this vintage doily, which was in Tim's, was it chapter 1, chapter 2 collection, I think?
I'd be pushed to remember the chapters now.
It's one of the two, but it's a gorgeous folder anyway. So, of course, when you're passing embossing folders through your machine, what you will need to do is remove one of the cutting plates. Also remove the wafer-thin die adapter so it works on the bottom of the platform.
This is where the platform for me, I just love the fact that all the instructions are on the platform for you. So,
yeah, now that's interesting actually. So the question really for you, when you first started using a die cutting machine, how useful was it to you to have those instructions on that platform?
Oh, incredibly useful because when you are, especially as a professional, you use them in front of other professionals. You don't want to kind of be caught short not knowing how to use the machine, even just in front of your colleagues. So for me, that was game changer.
Yeah, it really is. I'm just thinking of guys that maybe haven't used a big shot before, or maybe thinking about getting a big shot. I personally think that is one of the big advantages of our machines, the fact that those instructions are always at hand. So irrespective of what product you're using, it could be 2D embossing folder, 3D embossing folder, it could be a thin lid, a big site, it's always there to show you what sandwich to use and how to put it together. Now, with this one, you can see where I'm embossed. I'm applying gilding wax. This is the Sizzix gilding luster wax. But yeah, gilding wax. I use the sort of generic name. This is our luster wax. This is a rose gold. Thank you for putting me straight on that, Josh. See, I get in trouble for saying it.
It's only because I got told off for it the other day.
Oh, did you? Did you do the same? Oh,
I've been doing the same. That's the only reason.
Oh, well. Maybe I got it from you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's blame Josh. Yay. If you want anything, you want to get something off your chest, if you just want to send us a comment, if there's something you're particularly ashamed of or something that you've done which has gone dramatically wrong, just blame Josh. That's what I do. Yeah. Send them in. Send a comment. Today is Blame Josh Day. There you go. Now, they think I'm joking. Right, this is a feather. This is it. This is what happens when you apply that lovely luster wax. And that is quite bold, quite simple, quite graphic. It's quite, it's not really, you don't get this kind of pattern on a feather, but we're having fun. We're playing, we're being curious. We're saying, what if I do that? How does it look? You might think, not that great. Or you might think, well, that's a bit different. And that's what we like to do. And that's how we grow as makers, I think, Curiosity is, well, what if I try this? What if I try that? And that's what this is all about. Now, what I've got here is a piece of white card, and you can see that I've cut it at a slight angle. Let's put it on top of that red so you can see that better there. And I've done that for a purpose because obviously when we stick it onto a card, you'll be able to see why. I've stamped it with some lovely splotchy stamps, which were from a collection of mine some time ago, and also this lovely simple text. And I put my Hocus Pocus die on there. That again comes from the bold text Halloween set. Again, we're using the aperture, so we're using the negative this time. Again, but keep those letters. Use the letters themselves on another card. No waste, folks. We have a no waste policy around here. So let's push those off to one side. There. Now, let's have a little look at that. So there we are. There's my hocus pocus. It's all cut out. You can see that there. If I put it on my hand, and I'm taking, again, some of my tape. We're going to trim this down slightly. Let's actually, let's cut that in half. That's what I'll do. I just need a little section of this, actually. There we are. I'm going to put that, run that up the center. And for me, this is one of the advantages of this kind of tape over, say, you know, the foam pads. The fact that you can, if you want to make a little one, you can cut a little one. You know, you can put a piece on your cutting mat. You can cut them into little pads. If you want a big one, you can do that as well. Now, there is one other adhesive. I want to bring in my tape roller. I think this is a product that we both wanted, Josh. This is something that, because you know, you're kind of stuck in your ways sometimes. I use double-sided tape, and when it first came out, I'm like, yeah, it's nice, but it's not for me. Now I use it all the time. I can't get enough of it. It's a great product.
Oh, it's so convenient, isn't it? It's just there. There's no trying to find the end of the tape.
No.
It's just done for you. I love it.
You see what I've done there? You see that on the camera? I've kind of curled the edges up. So again, light and shadow, and I'm going to stick the feather something like that. So there's number 4. So we've got one with our lovely decorative foils, the gold foil there. We've got 2, which is with our embossing powder, same feathers. We've got 3 with our resist technique with the distress inks. And then finally 4 using our luster wax, not gilding wax, no, it's luster wax. There we go. Now, hey, how about we show you a few other projects using that same set. And again, I put them somewhere. Here they are. There we are. Do you know what, folks? There's so much going on. It's hard to keep track. It really is. Now this one, how simple is that? 3 different colors of distressing. And it says, be the rainbow. Now, hey, if you want to do it in all 7 colors, be the rainbow, be my guest. Then let's take a look. We've got, now let's hold that up so you can see it a bit closer, actually. There you go. So this next one, sending hugs. Just this, now the cardstock itself is from one of Tim's wonderful cardstock packs. Do check that out. And again, just die cut and inking very gently around the edge to give you that contrast. Then let's have let's talk about simple monochromatic. I'll hold these 2 up. So it's white and cream. That's all it is, just white and cream. This one's on craft card, bit of twine. This one is, we were talking earlier about a neutrals cardstock. The grays come from the neutrals cardstock pack. Then let's get a bit more kind of Halloween-y, I guess. This one, Trick or Treat, using that wonderful set, that Voltex Halloween, and we've got a couple of feathers here using various acrylic kind of techniques and so on and so forth. Then finally, this one here. And that's it. And again, we've gone for those really kind of broken up mixed media techniques to get a kind of more grungy thing going on. So there's quite a contrast from that to that. It's the same set.
Talking about the sort of the value you can get from these dies, you've used that. This is only one of the dies that's part of this chapter, isn't it? So you've used that in how many different ways here? I'm not going to count them, but loads and loads of different ways. It's just kind of, and the inspiration's there as well. You know, you can go on things like Pinterest, or you can go on the Sizzix website. You can go, you know, the Sizzix Facebook page, and there's loads of videos of just, you know, past videos of techniques and things that we've done that you can apply to these dies as well.
Indeed there are. You know, and I think, and I did say at the top of the show, that versatility means value for money for me. Something you're going to use. Now, something might be seasonal, and you could make the argument, if it's seasonal, it's not versatile. But if you're using it every season, every Halloween, every Christmas, then, hey, you know what? It's worth the price of admission, folks. Now, this one shows up feathers. It shows up feathers, but it also shows another couple of dies. These are colorized dies. And this is Otis and Spencer. I'm going to bring out a few projects as well to show you. Now, should we do this with the front-facing camera or the top-down camera, James? We'll carry on with the top-down. Let's have a look at some of the others. Now, dice themselves. Let's have a look. Let's see. This is Tim Holtz Fall Halloween. First up, you know this guy. We've talked about it a lot. This one is our bold text Halloween. There are 8 different ones. They're all the same width. They're perfect for tags, perfect for party bags, anything like that. Because I know that's what a lot of you do at Halloween. And let's take a look at a project using them. Well, you've seen quite a few already, but those are the positive. Those are the letters that connect. Those are the negatives. You can use either. And you know what? You can cut the negatives. They make great stencils. You can stencil through those as well. Use your paste, your inks, your acrylics, whatever you want. Very, very versatile. Now, this is Halloween. We've had 2 bold texts. We had one in chapter 1, one in chapter 2. This is the Halloween. And we have a chapter 3, a Christmas one. So look out for that. It's gorgeous. There we are. There's a little sign. So a little home decor piece. You could hang that on your door on the 31st. So that's bold text.
Just
Halloween.
well,
Sure.
Yeah, we've got a question. So we had a question from Jen Purple about the splatter techniques that you're using on the cards, and she's asking if it is acrylic paint. I see you've got quite a few different projects with splatter on them.
Well, do you know what I tend to do? Was it Jan? Was it? Yeah,
It was Jen Purple.
okay. Well, I don't know if you were talking about this one, Jen. If you were, these were actually stamps. Okay, they weren't splatters; they were stamps. But one of the best ways that I found, so if you look at the splatters on there, what I do is I take some distress ink, spritz it, and then I pick it up with a palette knife, and I just flick the end of the palette knife to get those splatters. That's probably one of the best ways of doing that. I mean, you'll see in a far more subtle manner, you can see some splatters on there. Again,
So is that with acrylic paint?
That's with acrylic paint.
Yeah.
You can use, if you go on to white or cream cast, use distress inks. If you're going on to darker, use acrylic
And do
paint.
you water it down before?
Yeah, I try to get it to a kind of milky consistency. If you get it creamy, you get strings of it. If you get it milky, it's just right. But play around with it.
Yeah.
And
You
I'm
can
sure-
use your distress inks as well to do for a splatter if it's on
Absolutely.
to a lighter
Yeah.
background than your colours.
Absolutely, not a problem at all. Let's put those down there a second. I'm going to show you some more of these dies. This one is called Trick or Treat. It's another colorized one. As I say, you know what you really want to get. I'm not going to do too much on these. I'm not going to talk about them too much because what I want you to do is go across to Tim's YouTube channel or the Sizzix Hub and see what Tim says about them because he can communicate his ideas so much better than I ever could. This Pumpkin Duo, another colorized. Then we have Otis. He is Otis. There we are, that lovely moon with the bat and that hanging star. We've got, now this is one of my favorites. This is retro Halloween, and they've got that real sort of 1950s, 60s kind of retro vibe going on there. I love that. Great detail. Now, you might think there's a lot of detail in those, but there are only 2 cuts in each die. Only 2. One black, one colored. How about Myron? Oh, who can love Myron? Look at that. And you wouldn't believe some of the projects that Tim's makers have made with Myron. So please go.
I love the fact they've all got names as well. I like rather than just kind of colorized die number something. They've got their own names, which gives them kind of a bit more personality.
That could be Spooky Toad, but
Yeah.
you know what? It's Myron.
And Myron,
like
he is a Myron, isn't he?
He is Myron.
This one here, we spoke to Tim the other day, and I loved hearing about the kind of the origin of the idea for it. It was those kind of Halloween pinboard sort of posters that you would see when he was in elementary school, I believe, or at school,
right.
and you would see him, for an upcoming event. And I love kind of the.
Well, that's what is interesting, and I did say, go and watch Tim because when he tells you these stories, where the where the inspiration came from, it really does bring them to life. It really does. Spencer, oh, I've had so much fun with this die.
Awesome.
It's a 6. There are 6 layers. It's colorized again, but you know what? You can just layer it up in black and use your luster waxes. There's so many techniques. Oh, How about this, Mischievous? Now, you're a cat man, Josh. I know this is a favorite of yours. You've got 9 different cats, and their faces, their heads are separate. It's
So
really,
just to
really cool
clarify,
stuff.
I don't have 9 different cats.
No, he doesn't. No.
9 different cats come in the set, but I do have 4 cats.
You really?
I do have 4, and when I'm looking at this set,
Yeah.
all I need to do are a few different kind of paint techniques to make each of these cat silhouettes look like my own cats. And for me, that's amazing. I want this set because of
Well,
that.
I think you need to feed your cats up, actually. So, but there you go. Hey, who am I? Oh, we've seen this one before, haven't we? This is Feathery. Of course, your 6 wonderful feathered friends. And finally, these 2 wonderful embossing bowls. Firstly, we have skulls. And secondly, this one is acorns. It is acorns. And I'm going to show you some examples of those right now. So let's start off with these. Let me just reach under here just for 1 second. Skulls and acorns. Wow. Wow. Talk about detail. Look at the way these skulls curve. Look at the detail in not just in the foreground of the acorns one, but in the background as well. Really, really great job. This one was done with a paint drying technique, just 2 colors, black card, and I used a sort of a blue-gray, and then kind of a cream color to bring out the detail. Same with the acorns, same thing going on there, same thing exactly. Did it with the skulls in those acorn colors.
Skulls.
Let's see what I've got. Oh, this is this kind of a patina effect there. How about a couple of bookmarks? I love making bookmarks with 3D embossing folders. I really do.
This skull one,
Yeah.
I want to back some kind of Halloween big book. You know, when you go to maybe a thrift store and you can find like a big old book. And I'll back the whole thing with that and make almost like a big book of spells.
Hey, Josh, do you know what? It's funny you should mention that.
Nope.
It's funny you should mention. I'll tell you what. Oh, gift bag.
Do you know what?
There's a nice
I hadn't
wrap
seen
around it.
these, Pete.
You haven't seen these?
Genuinely, I've not seen them. I was not just doing that for the sake of this.
Really?
Thing. Yeah, honestly.
That would have been the most perfect link.
Yeah, no, it would have been, but no, it wasn't.
well,
I
there you go.
actually hadn't seen
And
them.
they
I feel
are
so
thrifts.
embarrassed.
They are a thrift store. They are a charity shop. This is a French-English dictionary, and this is a new gem dictionary. So there you go. And that's using those 2 skulls. We did it for a photography thing, actually. So we had a stack of them. And there's finally that is using that lovely acorns folder. So yeah, there you go. So sorry, I beat you to the punch there, man.
Quick question from
Sure.
Nalina Agra. So Nalina wants to know where you get your where do you get your lovely sentiments? And I believe that she is likely talking about these sentiments.
Right.
Here.
Okay. These sentiments. We're on the front-facing camera now, I believe. These sentiments. They were actually chapter 2, I think. Stamp set. There are 3 stamp sets in total. I designed them myself, and they're called. I think they're Good Vibes 3 and 4. So check that out. Check the website, the Sizzix website. You should be able to find them on there.
I had a recent show actually on Create and Craft with these, where I believe they sold out.
Of course they sold out. Of course they sold out. Right. Back to no, I'm kidding. Yeah, maybe they did. Oh, we're on top camera now. Right. Okay. Look at that. This is that pumpkin. As I said, it's 2 die cuts. The background I use inks. The top is just black card. So if you've got your candy corn, if you want to hand these out, or if you've got, the kids' party season's back, we're back around each other's houses. The kids, you can create these for the kids. You can use the bold text as well if you wish. There is candy corn in this, you can probably hear. And there's the lovely owl. What other goodies have we got down here? Oh, Spencer. How about Spencer? This one's just dry brush, just monochromatic. I die cut from gray, lay it up, and then just dry brush to get that kind of vibe. And you can see the bold text coming in as well. And there's Spencer layered up using some of our wonderful cardstock. That's it's pretty much neutral cardstock, that I think.
Do you know what, Pete? We
Sure.
actually have a message from the man himself, Tim Holtz, and he's reminded me, because kind of silly us getting too involved, we forgot to give the person who makes these dies, who gives her skills and like kind of brings them to life, Lisa Jones.
Lisa Jones.
A massive
Yes.
shout out. So thanks for reminding us, Tim.
Yeah, diolch yn fawr iawn, Lisa Jones. Lisa, like myself, is Welsh, and she is incredibly talented, as Tim says. The work that she does, bringing these to life, it's a collaborative effort. Tim comes with it, and they refine it. And Ryan, of course, who does the wonderful 3D folders, he has taken, together with Tim, the both of them, they have taken 3D folders to a whole new level. Every pun intended there. So, yes, thank you for reminding. Yeah, Lisa and Ryan, they do really work out together with Tim to bring these dies to you. There's a lot goes on behind the scenes. I'm here for the candy. I love this set. This is Trick or Treat. There's that lovely little candy skull. If you look on Tim's presentation, you will see one of his makers had used the skull without that. Now, I hadn't thought of that, and it is absolutely fabulous. There you go. So that's that one. What else have we got? Wow, check it out. Oh, look. And this one, funnily enough, it was inspired by Tim's life. I haven't finished it yet. But there you go. So there's mischievous. There's a couple of cats going on there. And the way that I did the roof tiles, now, the roof tiles and the brick embossing folder both come from Tim's Village collection. If you haven't seen that, do yourself a favor, go and check that out. And then we've got this lovely house, which was from, I think it was from last year. I think it was Ghost Town #2. I think it was Chapter 3 last year. This is really simple. There's another cat against a moon. There's another cat cut as, so that's cut as an aperture into that circle and placed over there like that. And we got bold text coming in again and again and again.
I see a message here from Lisa.
Sure.
It says, Diolch Pete a Josh.
Right. She didn't put too much Welsh in it because she knew you'd be reading it out.
She knew
you'd be reading it out. There you go. So, Myron, there he is. Look at him sitting there. You got the pumpkin duo in the background. You got that lovely fire toadstool there. Wow. Just so cool. So cool.
Can I just mention this one here because this I absolutely love all these kind of candy colorized things here. But when we were talking to Tim about these, you could see the passion for candy coming through in that we kind of derailed the whole meeting just for a bit to talk about all of the lovely kind of candies over in the US compared to the UK.
I think it took up about 20% of
yeah,
the meeting. But hey,
you know see where that passion comes from.
We love hearing about how great American candy is. And do you know what? Josh and I have both spent a lot of time in America. I still eat Reese's Pieces for breakfast. But this candy corn, now Tim, I don't think this is the stuff that you were talking about if you're still watching, but it's pretty good. I think I looked at the ingredients. It's about 300% sugar. Wow, it's just, yeah, okay. Check with your dentist before eating that, but it's great stuff. The States, they do know how to do candy. They really do. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think we've pretty much looked at everything except we're up here, except my lovely daughter Poppy. There she is. We got this gorgeous frame. So for home decor pieces and things like that, we've got the Acorn's background. We've got our feathers coming in. We've got a lovely pumpkin duo. Just kind of brings it all together. I remember the day we bought that pumpkin. I remember that very well. So there you go. That's it. Thank you very much for joining us. We're back again. Josh, we've got the small matter of, now I'm going to hold up the cards that I made earlier. And now I want you to go up and down, up and down, up and down, and try and find a winner. And we can send these along to you if you wish.
About sort of 3 minutes ago, because I've been going up and down and looking at these lovely comments. But the winner of these, is it 3 cards?
4 cards.
4 cards is someone called Kath in West Hill. Yeah, so I mean, she's been commenting on this, and I've seen her also commenting on our various sort of social media channels.
Great.
So I know she's a big fan. So well done, Kath.
Deserving winner, Kath. If you send your address, you can send it. Go to our webpage or Sizzix Instagram, or go to the Sizzix page and look at the contact details at the bottom. Send your address along to us. Tell them what it's about, and we'll put them in the post tomorrow morning. How about that? Now, Thank you to everybody who's commented. Thank you for joining in today. It's great to hear from you, and we're glad when you're looking at something and you're wondering, how did he do that? What's he doing there? It's great that we can answer those questions live for you. Thank you very much. Do you know, I think they're cutting off the top of your head. I think this is set up for me.
It's always the case.
Is it always the case? There you go.
So, go down a little bit. Right? There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just looking at the monitor. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, you know what? If you want to see what these are all about, if you want to take a deep dive into the dies, some of the inspiration, Tim's makers are incredible. There are some inspirational, the most wonderful makes. So go to Tim's YouTube, check it out. Go to the Tim Holtz Hub on the Sizzix webpage, and you will see all those lovely colorized dies put together in an animation. So it shows you how to apply each individual layer. Really clever. As always, if you made something using these dies or any dies, send them along to us. We'd love to hear from you. Is it My Sizzix Story? Is that where it goes?
My Sizzix Story. That's right.
Yeah. My Sizzix Story. Yeah. Send. We love to see it. We love to steal your ideas. Did I say that? I mean, Josh loves to steal your ideas. Thank you very much. I have been Pete. This has been Josh. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.